Hello and welcome back to the Most Dangerous Podcast. I've returned. I've returned from my journeys. How are you, Fraser?
I'm good, thanks. Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Did you have a nice holiday?
It was great, yeah. So, for those who don't know, I went to France for a week. I did loads and loads of shit over there. I went on a hot air balloon ride. I won't bore you with all the details. I went to like one of those like what do they call it? Like a go ape thing. When you go
Oh
through
yeah,
go through
yeah.
the trees and stuff like that. A zip
Mhm.
line thing. Went to Paris. Went to Versailles. Went to Disneyland. Went to Reims. Have you ever heard of Reims? It's like a place that
I've
was.
been to Reims with you.
Have you? Did you? When?
Yeah, I've
Really?
got a photograph just over there of you and me in Reims with my granddad.
Really? I thought I'd been there
Yes.
before. Actually, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I recognise this place.
It's the
Yeah,
big. There's a big cathedral. It's famous for its
it's a
cathedral, and there's like
huge.
bullet holes in it and
That's
stuff,
right.
isn't
It's a
there?
huge. It got
Yeah.
decimated in World War Two.
Yeah.
Huge cathedral because we went to Paris and we were like Notre
hmm
Dame. Like, went to the cathedral. Like we walked
Yeah.
all around Paris and stuff. Um, and it was dead nice and stuff. But there was a huge queue
Yeah.
to get in. I said to Katie, my partner, like, "Now we'll go." Reims wasn't far away, so we'll go there.
hmm
And we went there, and the cathedral's bigger, I think. It was great, great. Really had a fantastic time with the
hmm
children, with the kids. Must have walked about 50 miles, I reckon, in the whole sort of like grand scheme of
hmm
things around Disneyland, around Paris. We did the whole circuit of Paris, did the whole circuit of Reims, did the whole circuit of
Yeah.
like Versailles and stuff like that. No problem. Got home last night or the night before. Dumped my suitcase on the floor as you do when you get back in.
hmm
You're like, oh, just fuck it, I'll sort that out. Got up in the night to get myself a drink of water, tripped over my suitcase, and I think I've broken my leg, to be honest, because it fucking hurts. It,
That's
I've done my
that's not
cruciates or
funny, but it
something.
is.
Yeah, I know.
Shit.
I can barely walk on it. Like that's why I'm sitting like a really jaunty angle because I can't like I've got to put it in like a certain position so it doesn't hurt. So yeah. But I had a great,
Yeah.
great time, really relaxing, really good. I come back, it's Easter, it's Good Friday, so the day Jesus got crucified.
Excellent.
Yeah, and of
Yeah.
course this
Yeah.
weekend, hopefully we're going to win. I feel a bit like the Pope actually with this. I'll take it off, but Liverpool are going to win the league this weekend, maybe. Who knows? So all in all, a good break. I feel very refreshed, and I just want to say as well, thank you, Tyler, so much for standing in for me. I did watch the episode and listen to the episode as well. Really good effort. Thank you so much. I'm sure we will come back and rely on you another time, perhaps when Fraser's on holiday or when I'm on holiday again. So yeah, really good effort. Great episode.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to have Tyler on. He's a good pal. He's always good to talk to. So, but yeah, we did the Welsh Pirates. Did you enjoy it? Because
Yeah, it was
I was
really good
blown away
actually. Yeah.
that there was actually like, I don't mean you don't put Wales and pirates, and I mean that you don't think of English pirates and Scottish pirates and
Well,
stuff.
while you say that though, I
Like,
mean, have you ever played Assassin's Creed? The video game.
yes,
So,
only a little bit, but I know of it. Yeah.
so the best Assassin's Creed game is one called Black Flag, I think. So, yeah, it's Black Flag, and the protagonist in that is a pirate from Swansea in
Oh,
Wales.
really?
Yeah.
It's that. That's not the one that starts off with like the assassination of the president. You've got to get out of the theatre.
No, no. I don't
No.
think so. No, I think it's thinking of something different there. No, Assassin's Creed's where like it's all the Templars and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely Assassin's Creed I've played, but
Mm.
there's an assassination in a theatre at the start of this one. You've got to get all around the theatre and get out, and then like
Maybe,
you're in the
maybe,
game.
maybe. I don't know, but yeah, it's probably the best Assassin's Creed game, and yeah, that guy is from Swansea in Wales. So I wasn't surprised to hear that there were pirates from Wales. And
Was I factually accurate when I said you were born in Pembroke?
yes, I was born in a place called Haverfordwest, which is Pembrokeshire in Wales. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I was because I used to always get confused where you're born.
Yeah. Can I just say, while we're here,
Mhm.
that's a cracking hat, a cracking cap
Thank you.
you have on. Yeah.
That's my
Steamboat Willie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So well, I know all about
My
that. I haven't been to Disneyland.
That was bought for me in Disneyland by Laura
Was it? Yeah.
because it was in America on Splash Mountain. The like log flume, my hat blew off
Oh yeah.
because I forgot to take it off. And
We went on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride.
I love that.
It was so good. Like it was really good.
Yeah,
Like even the queue was
classic.
good. So we went down like the queue was like down into a cave and stuff,
Mhm.
and it was really like you were in like this Caribbean kind of like village and stuff. So
That
it's really really
that's
cool.
the level that Disney takes it to. It's like Alton Towers and theme parks are brilliant, but Disney just it's the way they dress everything else up
Yeah, yeah,
around
yeah.
it. It's the same rides. It's just the same mechanisms and stuff like that, but the way they dress it up
Yeah,
around
it's
it's a different
incredible. It was
level.
really good fun, and like
Ah,
you really enjoyed it. I mean, I think the Paris Disney is probably a bit different from the Florida Disney because the French are a bit different from the Americans. They're a bit more
yeah,
kind of spiky in French, which is kind of it's
brutal.
cool. Yeah, I like it. It was incredible. It was a great experience. I
Yeah.
recommend anyone who wants to go to France. Maybe not Paris. Don't think I enjoyed that as much, but
Mhm.
Versailles and Reims were really really good.
I announced to my family yesterday that I'm going to go and live in the north of France at some stage in my life,
You should
whether
do
it's
it. It's
next
great.
year or whether it's when they've all grown up and moved out. I was looking. You can buy a house with a big barn and everything for like a couple $100,000
Yeah,
land
out in
and
the
all that. So
sticks.
I'm going to do it. Love
And
France.
like, yeah, absolutely love France and French
Hmm.
people. I think they're incredible, and
Yes,
and the food tastes better for some reason. Like tomatoes
it's
taste
fresher.
fresher. I don't know whether I'm just being kind of like I don't know anti-British, but yeah, it just
uh,
tasted good.
yeah, I had an Italian customer I was with, and they just said like France and sort of northern Italy, where it's all quite similar. He said that they just don't accept shit fruit
Shit,
and
yeah,
veg.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just
Like
done properly.
tomatoes were a real standout. Like tomatoes
Yeah.
here just take like water,
Hmm.
whereas there they
They
have
were
like
bigger
proper
and redder, aren't
yeah
they?
proper
Big.
flavour. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really weird. Anyway, what are we talking about? Um, So yeah, we are continuing our London series. This is the last in the series of our London expeditions and whatever you want to call it. And we are carrying on from a few weeks ago. I spoke about the Great Plague, if you remember.
Hmm.
So
Enjoyed it. Yes.
yeah, and we are going to continue on to a very similar time frame. In fact, 1 year later. And today we're going to be speaking about the Great Fire of London.
The Great Fire of London. It's they both just take me back to. I always want to say year four, but you weren't in school with me in year four.
No, I joined in year
But
five,
I'm
Easter
sure it
year
was
five.
before I met you. It was because it was Mrs. Warburton, year four. We did the plague, and like you said, they're very interconnected. We did the plague and the Great Fire of London, year four. It takes me back just mentioning them to being in school at that year.
Yeah, yeah, they're very interlinked, I think.
Yeah.
So, the Great Fire of London it was a disaster. Many people know this. If our foreign listeners over in the US, they might not have come across this before. Um,
Germany. We're growing in Germany
oh,
for some
really?
reason.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
maybe I mean I'm sure all our listeners are very educated, so I'm sure they've come across this before. But basically, it was a disaster. London burnt for 4 days. Basically, it destroyed everything in its path. And essentially it kind of like flattened the city, and the city was then rebuilt to
Mhm.
become London as we know it today. So yeah, so settle in, grab a cup of coffee or beer or hot chocolate or whatever, and this is the tale of the Fire of London. It happened in 1666. So you'll remember that when we spoke about the Great Plague,
Mhm.
the bubonic plague, that was 1665.
Yeah.
Okay. So in 1666, the plague had kind of sort of like suppressed a little bit. Not as many people were dying. It was still about. I mean, it's still around today. I think we chatted, it was still around. People still get bubonic plague to this day.
Really?
Yeah, I think about 4 or 5 people in the US die of bubonic plague per year.
Ah.
I mean, I don't think it happens that much in this country, but yeah,
Mhm.
you can still get plague. So 1666, London. It was a huge, as you can imagine, huge city, still is, and it was a city under pressure. So the years before, obviously, the population had been devastated by the plague. Around
Mhm.
100,000 people had died, I think we mentioned. So it's about 1 in 5 Londoners based on the
Wow.
population. So the stench of death was still in the air, you know. So many of the rich people, I think we discussed this as well, had left and moved off into the country. So the city was just full of poor people. Um, not the hygiene wasn't great, stuff like that. The streets were basically like a medieval maze. Everything was kind of narrow streets, and I found this quite interesting. So everything was made of wood as well, which is kind of um, relevant. So if you think about these old sort of wooden structures, so they kind of went up and they jaunted out. So like apparently, this is what I've read, they were so close together that if you lived in one of those sort of properties at the top of a structure, you could lean out and shake hands with the other person who lives on the opposite side of the road. That's how closely like everything was together.
It makes me think of, you've been to York, haven't you?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, the shambles in York is still a bit like
similar
that.
to that, yeah. It's just a really narrow street with wooden structures.
And when you talk about France, a lot of the French cities have got an old town, and it is literally, you can walk and it's like 4 foot between walls.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have cars, they didn't need stuff to get.
Yeah, all you needed was just carts
streets.
and people. That's it. Yeah,
That's it.
The horses and stuff to go down it.
So,
Yeah, so I thought that was
picture it.
Yeah, it's very strange to think about it like this day and age. But yeah, you were literally living shoulder to shoulder with the people around you. In 1666, the summer had been unusually dry. Wells were low, and obviously there was no fire safety back in those days. No one cared. No fire service either. No fire engines. No sort of like, you got to think back to then. I don't think there was any police back then either.
We talked about in a podcast I did the first fire brigade, didn't we?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, that was like 1800s or something. So there's no. I think this tragedy sort of instigated the development of a fire brigade. But I think if a fire broke out, it was just people going, right, let's throw buckets of water on this. So no health and safety. Everyone's living really close together. It's basically a tinderbox, wooden structures everywhere. And all it needed is just one spark, and the whole thing just would have just gone up. And essentially, that's what happened. So this spark came on the night of Saturday, September 1st, shortly after midnight, in Pudding Lane.
It always made me laugh because of where the fire started as well. It was like Pudding Lane.
Pudding Lane, yeah. It's a narrow street in the heart of London, heart of the city. It still exists, actually. I did go, ironically, I went on Google Maps earlier when I was researching this, and Pudding Lane still exists. I mean, it's surrounded by like office blocks now and stuff like that. Yeah. At the time, it had 1666 had a bakery there, and if you go down Pudding Lane, at the very end of it, I don't know if it's still there. There's a fucking Greggs. How ironic is that? So in narrow street in the heart of London, there was a bakery there, owned by a chap called Thomas Fariner. Now he was the official baker of the Royal Navy, and now around about 1 a.m. on the 1st of September, 1666, a small fire broke out in the bakery's oven room. Fariner and his family awoke to the smell of smoke and barely escaped climbing out of the window. One maidservant, terrified and unable to flee, became the fire's first recorded victim.
Shit.
But while the fire seemed small at first, it quickly turned dangerous. A stiff easterly wind carried sparks onto nearby rooftops, and within minutes, flames leapt from building to building, igniting wood, tar, and pitch.
Wow. You were saying, though, there was no like fire safety. It's like nowadays, I mean, I work in houses all the time. Certain houses have always got to have escape routes, certain windows in each
you got
floor
certain regulations.
Like
you have to be able to, like, if you live in a flat, there has to be a way of getting out. Like, there's fire regulations and things like that. So that didn't exist.
I was in Amsterdam with Laura, and we were below ground floor in the hotel, and there was a tiny little staircase, and there were metal bars on our window. And I remember thinking, if this goes on fire, that's it.
Yeah. I mean, I live in a townhouse. It's 3 floors. Now, I do think sometimes if this place caught on fire and we were all on the top floor, Or,
You'd have a chance of jumping from the top floor.
but
You'd be
that's
broken and bruised.
that's all you'd have to do. You just have
Yeah.
to launch the kids out the window and just hope for the best.
But this had bars in the window. The window was like that and had bars.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't say to Laura, do you know, we're fucked if this goes on fire.
Just don't mention it.
It runs through my head. No, like, how can they you wouldn't get away with that in Britain. But anyway.
No. So by the dawn on Sunday, the 2nd of September. So it's saying here the fire started on Saturday, September the 1st, around 1 a.m. Now I'm guessing that's 1 a.m. on the 2nd. So because by dawn on the Sunday, the 2nd of September, the fire had consumed an entire block of properties.
Wow.
Yeah, but still, the city hesitated. They just thought, "Nah, it's fine. It's just we can contain it. It's all right." You know, the usual politicians like, yeah, it's cool.
It's the sort of thing you do when you're drunk. It's fine. It won't get any worse than that.
Yeah. So yeah, the city's response was slow at the time. Like we mentioned. Fire prevention was pretty much non-existent. The Lord Mayor, Sir Thomas Bloodworth, so he arrived on the scene early Sunday morning. He was shown the growing blaze and was urged to begin demolishing buildings around it to try and stop the spread of it. His response: pish. A woman could piss it out. So basically meaning it was like, you know, you could just it'll just go out. There's no worries.
It's just like the times. Like nowadays, if a fire broke out in Australia, we'd know in 10 minutes time.
Yeah.
But like, they have to get this guy up. Like, come on, have a look at this. What is it? Look, big fire up there. Oh, fucking hell! Like it's how casual they are about it. Don't worry, it'll burn out.
It'll be fine. It'll burn itself out. That's essentially the road that he took. Bloodworth's failure.
It's due to rain next week.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. No worries. So his failure to act decisively is echoed through history. Apparently, precious hours were lost. Hours during which the fire grew and grew and grew. He just sat there going, "Yeah, it'll be all right. This it'll be fine. It'll be fine."
Yeah.
So by the afternoon of the 2nd of September, the blaze had reached Thames Street, lined with warehouses full of coal and timber and all the rest of it. It's like, shit. All obviously highly flammable. Explosions
coal, timber and petrol district.
Pretty much. And then explosions started to happen. Like, the mayor's sitting there going, "Nah, it'll be fine. It'll be all right."
Yeah. It's just approaching the kindling warehouse.
The cotton factory shit.
Yeah.
And by that point, people started to like flee their homes, thinking, this is pretty bad. I did hear or read stuff about people actually burying their valuables in their sort of gardens and stuff. If they had a bit of land, just they started to bury things, just to save it, I guess. There were people doing rain dances, but so people dragging carts down the road and with their belongings, just like that. We've got to get out of here.
Is it true that people have already buried drugs and alcohol in the park, ready for the Oasis concerts?
I don't know.
I'm sure I've heard rumours about that. People have been doing it for festivals and stuff, like going into the field where the festival's going to be next month and burying their drugs.
X marks the spot.
Yeah, basically, like fucking 12 paces from the tree and stuff like that. And they get there and there's a big tent built over it and you're fuck.
Yeah, bollocks.
But I'm sure I read that they're already burying stuff.
Really?
Where is it? It's
Hyde Park, isn't it?
Hyde Park?
I think so. Is it Hyde?
Yeah.
Might be wrong.
Anyway, but yeah, people have already been like burying their drugs and stuff in a little stash.
That's. I mean, I would like to go. If anyone's listening and they've got any spare tickets, throw it my way because I would like to go, but I don't know. I mean, we had a great experience when we went to go and see them in like '98. I think it was '99 or something.
'97 it was.
'97. Okay, yeah. But then we went to see them again in like 2008. And it was crap. I was just covered in like piss.
I know.
I just don't like the I don't know.
I don't know if you'll ever recover that front. We were basically front row, weren't we?
Yeah, it was good.
Just
But I've had like better gigs. I don't know. I just think the sort of Oasis
yeah,
crowd is perhaps isn't the best.
yeah, I know.
Anyway. But I would like to go if anyone's got tickets. They want to throw them my way. Please do. Anyway, by Monday, the 3rd of September, London was in full blown panic. The fire was now a firestorm, creating its own weather. Apparently, the heat was so intense that it cracked stones and melted glass windows from a distance. Roofs collapsed. Flames leapt across the river. Eyewitnesses described the fire spiraling into the sky like a dragon.
Wow.
Efforts to fight the fire were largely futile. Hand pumps couldn't compete. Bucket lines broke down. Churches, often used to store valuables during fires, began to ignite one by one. People were caught between saving their possessions and saving their lives. So it was just pure panic, basically. And at the centre of it all stood St. Paul's Cathedral. So, we all know St. Paul's Cathedral, symbol of the city. It was built in the medieval Gothic style. Its lead roof actually melted because of the heat.
Wow.
It flowed down liquid molten lead was flowing down the streets. That's how hot it was.
Shit.
And by Tuesday morning, this is the 4th of September, St. Paul's Cathedral has basically just collapsed. It was nothing. It was a ruin. So, with the city government paralysed, King Charles II stepped in. Here we go. He took personal command of the firefighting efforts, ordering demolition crews to work day and night to clear fire breaks. So I guess what they were trying to do was kind of thinking, well, where's it going to go? Where's the wind going?
Yeah.
That house is next. Let's knock that house down so that it doesn't spread. The Navy was even brought in. Gunpowder was used to blow up entire rows of houses to try and stop the spread of this fire.
Fucking hell.
And at last, on Wednesday, September the 5th, the wind began to die down, and with it, the fire's fury. But it was a bit too late then, because the whole fucking thing was burnt to fucking cinders. So, yeah. So it lasted for 4 days. It ravished the city. It was so intense that St. Paul's Cathedral melted, literally melted. But surprisingly enough, not that many people died. The Great Fire itself obliterated the city of London. To be fair, you can imagine. If I had a time machine, I would like to go back and have a look at that. To be honest,
just watch it burning.
Just watch it, yeah. I know it's a bit tragic, but I think only about 9 or 10 people died. I think we might come on to this, but it must have been massive, like just insane.
Well, there was recently. I mean, I know you get in Australia and stuff. You get like the bushfires and stuff like that, but recently there was California. It was like people's houses, homes, buildings. It was different. Bushfires are terrible because there's animals and all that, but like this one in Chicago was people's cars, homes, everything.
California, yeah.
California, not Chicago.
Yeah, no, I saw that, yeah. But that kind of broke out in all different parts of the city, didn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, this. I mean, it started in one. Imagine being that baker. You're like, fuck.
Oops. Was it? Did they ever find out? Was it negligence? Was it just bad luck? Was it just?
I think it was just bad luck. Like these things happen, and it's just the way that the city was structured, and everything was so close in such close proximity. With the weather, with the wind and stuff like that, it just happened. Sorry.
I was going to say, I believe I'm probably stepping on your toes. After the fire of London's when they first started building buildings with gaps, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, precisely. We'll talk about this now, actually. Yeah, so they reckon about 13,200 houses were destroyed. Wow. 87 churches, including St. Paul's. 44. I think these are the sort of market areas, like lively company halls. So. And other major infrastructures were destroyed, like the Royal Exchange and the city gates and things like that.
Yeah.
Estimates vary. Excuse me. estimates vary, but roughly 70,000 to 80,000 people, and this is out of a population of 90,000 were left homeless.
Wow.
So you're looking at like 99% of the population, or 98.
I assume they didn't have insurance, like Direct Line.
Well, again, we'll come on to this because insurance didn't
okay.
exist at the time.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't a thing. I think didn't we speak? We did a podcast like ages ago about, was it Rome or something? Some guy was just like,
so.
you like knock down people's houses and then charge them to rebuild it.
That was the guy that had started the fire brigade.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Who was that?
That's my Alexa. That was what we were talking about. It was the Roman guy that was a bastard.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and he invented the fire brigade, but he basically will put the fire out, but the house is now mine.
Yeah.
You can rent it off me. That was it.
That's it. Yeah. So so fire brigade didn't exist. There was no insurance really. Yeah. You couldn't pay someone to insure your house back in them days. So about 80,000 people of a population of 90,000 were homeless, which is incredible. But only, incredibly, 6 deaths were officially recorded.
Wow.
Now, historians are sort of dubious on this number, because I think when we spoke about the Black Death and the plague, we did mention that deaths were recorded differently. So historians think it probably was more, but it was just no one gave a shit about those people, so it didn't really matter. So,
well, if a whole family died in a house, no one would be missing them.
Yeah, exactly, stuff like that. So officially 6, probably more, to be fair, given the state of it. Particularly within the poor population, like you say, if the whole family died and the whole property got decimated, then no one cared. The psychological toll was immense, apparently. The rumours started to swirl. It's quite profound, really. Like, it's similar to sort of today. So people started to blame foreigners for starting the fire. French immigrants were blamed. There was mob violence erupted because of foreigners being in our town, starting fires and things like that. Apparently, one poor Frenchman was nearly lynched. For he was carrying a bottle of wine, and people thought it was flammable oil. Just crazy, isn't it? So similar to sort of today's stuff.
Nothing's changed. Blame the foreigners.
600 years later, and we still blame the foreigners.
Yeah.
So London's completely flattened by this fire that started in a bakery. Complete accident, I think. I can't assume. I can't see why it wouldn't be. So it was kind of, but it was kind of a good thing for London, really. Once the fire had died down and everyone was homeless and people were going, fucking hell, what are we going to do now? The attention started to go to turn to the rebuilding of London.
Do you know? Sorry, Joe. Do you know where these? So the 99% of people that were homeless, where did they go in this period?
Well, I don't know exactly, but I'm going to hazard a guess and just say, well, must have been like ghettos and camps and things like that, maybe on the outskirts, because this is central London, so this is all round by the river. You can have a look on Google Maps. If you type in Pudding Lane, you'll see exactly where it is. It's right by the River Thames and stuff.
Yeah. So
I guess, and I don't know if we discussed this before, but there were sort of settlements outside the city walls. So I'm going to hazard a guess and say, well, these people just went to those settlements outside the city walls and set encampments, basically, and lived there. And then the authorities, the power that be, started to say, well, we've got to rebuild this, but we can't rebuild it the way that we did because it's going to happen again. So architect Sir Christopher Wren, you may have come across him before, maybe not. I
know the name.
Yeah, he's very famous. He proposed a grand redesign of London with sort of wide boulevards, large public spaces, symmetrical street grids. So basically everything that London was not previously. Politicians did pressure him into a more conservative rebuild, but nevertheless it was a redevelopment of central London.
Mhm.
One of the main factors was that buildings should be made of stone and not wood.
Yeah.
So streets should be wider and buildings made of stone, and like no more wood, basically, because wood was the main reason all this kicked off. Streets were widened, like I said, and then, like we mentioned, like fire insurance became a thing. So if your house, people would pay a premium, and if your house burnt down,
Yeah.
you'd get money to rebuild it. And it started off the seeds, not necessarily the start of the fire brigade, but it was the start of like the seeds were sown to think like, well, if this happened again, we need an organisation to come in and tackle the fire.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it recreated London to the London how London is today. And also, we mentioned when we did the plague episode, like the reason the plague was spreading. Now, there's been a lot of debate about whether the fire of London stopped or it ended the plague. And I think we mentioned earlier in the show, like, no, it didn't, because the plague still existed. There were still people dying of bubonic plague within London. But because buildings were starting to be made of stone, it meant that rats couldn't sort of get through properties. Like, rats can chew through wood, and and go into different properties and spread and move around. Whereas things are made of stone, it made it much more difficult for rats to move around, and they're more in the sewers and things like that. So maybe not directly it wiped out the plague, but the sort of social annotations and the implementation of wider streets and people not living so closely together contributed to the reduction in plague cases. So, yeah, it was an awful tragedy, but not many people died. London got rebuilt, and I mean, I quite like London. I don't know if you've been down there. You've been a few times, I think, haven't you?
Yeah, it's nice.
It's nice. The people aren't great, but never mind. Excuse me, Londoners.
I was listening to another podcast we both listened to, and basically they said that they think that London is the most diverse city in the world.
Yeah,
it's got the most people from all different worlds, you know what I mean? Different places, different cultures. There isn't a city that's as mixed as London is.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of them. I mean, like I said, I just come back from Paris, and and it's very similar to London, but it's French, obviously, because it's in France. But it's very similar in the sense that, like, you can see why people are like pissed off, because it's just so. Like, people are grumpy. You go down to London, people are moody and grumpy, and people don't want to talk to you. And it's the same in Paris, and I understand why. It's because people live there and they're trying to get along with their daily lives, trying to go to their work, trying to do their shit and shite. And then you've got tourists just standing around going, "Oh, look at this! Isn't this great?" So I kind of get it, and like,
but don't I mean on a much smaller scale? That's what's happened to Chester.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Chester's just geared for tourists. There's nothing for the people that live there to go into Chester for.
Yeah, I remember when I lived in Chester and like going around on like in the summer, walking through the town. You just want to go to like the Virgin Megastore and get a PlayStation game or whatever. Then you just be pissed off because there's just loads of people just stopping and like, you're walking along, someone just stops immediately and takes a picture. And you're like, fucking hell. So I kind of get it.
Prick dressed as a Roman with about 40 school kids behind him. And
I know him, actually.
Do you?
Yeah. His name's Bob. He's a good lad. Hi, Bob.
Hi, Bob. You're not a prick, Bob.
Yeah.
The other ones are.
Yeah. No, my daughter went. So my daughter goes to school in. It's boring. My daughter goes to school in Manchester. They did that trip. They go to the
Roman, to Chester.
Yeah. What's the Roman place called?
The Diva Roman Experience.
That's it. Yeah. And I messaged with my mate Bob, because he's the one that dresses up in this Roman gear. I said, "Oh, my daughter's coming over to you tomorrow. Can you just like make a fool of her?" So he did. So he went up in his gear and like, when she was having a dip, she was only about 7 or something. Must have shit her up. Thinking about it in retrospect. Is your name such and such? Yeah, it's funny.
I made you spend your pocket money on going there when we were young.
Did you? Yeah, I remember going there.
I was like, yeah, come to this thing. It's dead good.
It's crap.
Like, I haven't got much money. Yeah, it'll be amazing. Shit.
It's crap. Yeah, it's great. It was good if you're into that sort of stuff, but the museum's better and it's free.
Yeah.
Anyway, right. So the Great Fire of London. It was a tragedy. Of course, it was. The whole London burnt down, but it was a turning point. It marked the end of medieval London, and it was the birthplace or the starting point of this mega metropolis that we know today.
Yeah.
It taught urban planners about the dangers of overcrowding. Fuck was that? Who was that? Is that you?
Yeah, sorry.
It's supposed to be professional here. Fuck.
I didn't think the mic would pick it up.
Right, we're nearly done. Right,
I'll clip that out.
No, don't. Yeah. So, urban planning is the danger of overcrowding, building with wood, being unprepared for disasters. Yada yada yada. That's the London. Oh, in fact, one more thing. So, if you go to Pudding Lane in London, there's a monument. It stands 202 feet tall.
Wow.
Yeah, that's it.
Have you been to Dublin since the millennium?
Yeah, I went a few years ago. Yeah.
Have you seen their needle?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
stupid fucking monument. It's just, let's make a big, massive needle.
Talking about places that are overpriced. Yeah, I've been to Dublin. That's ridiculous. Like £11 for a Guinness or something. Did you go to that Temple Bar?
Yeah, the last time I was in Dublin, I had all 5 kids and no Laura because she was in hospital really ill when we went on our holiday to Ireland. The time, so I wasn't drinking or anything, but we went to the Hard Rock Cafe, and I've ate in Hard Rock cafes all around the world, and the Dublin one is at least twice the price of all the other Hard Rock cafes.
Like, ridiculous. Like,
so
we got like I went with Katie. I don't know where the kids were actually thinking about it, but they weren't there. Yeah, and we bought some drinks in the Temple Bar. I think it was like 2 Guinness and maybe a gin and tonic or something. It was like 40 euro. Like, fucking hell. Like, shit. Yeah, so that's well overpriced. But anyway, so that is the story of the Fire of London. I hope you enjoyed it. And that concludes our London series, I guess. Does it?
Yes, that's it. That's it. I enjoyed it. I was, like I said, I was dreading London when you put London in. And I was like, it's just London. But it's probably, there can't be many cities in the world with more history than London.
I think it's been really good. I think we could do another 2 or 3 on this, but obviously we don't. That's not the way we roll. The Fire of London, it's just a big fire, basically. It just decimated the city. But I think the connotations of it and how it developed, London wouldn't be London without the Great Fire of London, if that makes sense. The way that it was rebuilt, and St. Paul's Cathedral was rebuilt, and that's iconic in the skyline. You know, if you look at London these days. Completely rebuilt out of stone where it was previously sort of wood and stuff. So it's a very important part of London's history, the Great Fire. And like we mentioned with the plague, the Great Plague, it kind of had a knock-on effect of that, maybe not so much as previous historians had thought it had. I think a lot of previous historians thought that the fire just wiped out the plague, but it didn't. But the fact that the city was redeveloped with wider streets made out of stone rather than these wooden structures really close together. I think still sewage, I think it was still pretty grim, to be fair. Like the sewage system didn't come into the Victorian times, but nonetheless.
I realised I made a mistake. I said that the sewage system came in after the plague. It was in the 1800s.
Yeah, it was Victorians introduced the sewage system. But I mean, even so, like having wider streets meant there was more clean air to breathe, I guess. You know, you're not just walking through people's shit and stuff.
So, just not as remember from COVID, stay 6 foot apart.
Exactly.
Or 2 meters apart.
Exactly.
have you like? It's weird how tragedy can give you like opportunity, because two of the things I've sort of looked at recently is like British Rail. We're always there's always problems with the railway tracks in this country, and the reason is we had them first, and ours are the oldest, and we use this old gauge and stuff like that. Whereas like France and Europe, that have got these wonderful trains and train tracks, were decimated during the Second World War,
so they could
got the chance to rebuild.
Completely rebuild it. Yeah,
Germany's this really advanced country because actually a lot of it got blitzed and got to start again. A lot of the technology boom in Japan came after Hiroshima and Nagasaki, where they basically started from the beginning again and did things. And you don't want these tragedies to happen.
So what you're saying is we should basically just flatten everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
And start again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that to some extent.
Yeah.
But then, like, I mean, I don't want to go political because that's not what we do on here. But they're talking about building this new runway at Heathrow.
Yeah,
and it's like they've kind of sort of passed this legislation, and then it's like, well, it's going to take 5 years or 7-8 years to build it. And it's like, it's a piece of fucking tarmac. Like, it doesn't take 7 years to lay down a piece of tarmac. Like, it's just
bet Walt Disney could get it done in 12 months.
Yeah, he could do it in less. Yeah,
he built the whole first Disneyland in California in 12 months.
Exactly. Just it's all the planning laws and stuff, isn't it? But yeah, just fucking piece of tarmac, just lay it down there.
My kids were like hitting the roof. Oh my God, it's happening! It's happening! We're getting a Universal Studios in Britain.
Yeah, in 2034 or something.
Yeah, I know. I was like, it's your kids that you'll be taking. You'll all be fucking grown up.
Just get it built. Like, it'll take 12 months if you just go, right, let's just do it. They don't understand it. That's mad, isn't it?
Get a spade. Get a fucking spade and get into it.
Yeah, we want to build like 1 million houses in the UK. It's going to take us 40 years. What the fuck? Just fucking build them. Like, just get them done.
There's supposed to be loads of people out of work.
Yeah, just get them building.
Give them a hard hat and a fucking pile of bricks.
The prisoners, all these like pedos and rapists, get them on the fucking job.
Yeah, keep an eye on them. Like,
just keep chain, ball and chain, isn't it?
I'm gonna say it now, but I'm not gonna go into too much details. I think next week we've got a special guest.
Have we?
For our draw, yeah, very special guest.
A very, very, very a celebrity in the podcast world, maybe.
Celebrity, yes, yeah.
Okay.
So
watch this space.
He's definitely coming on, and it should be next week. But let's not over egg it. Okay. Aye.
Right, okay, well, that has been the Most Dangerous Podcast. Thank you very much for listening, everybody, and bearing with our ramblings. I'm glad to be back. I feel well rested.
Yeah, I loved doing it with Tyler last week. Like you said, thanks very much, Tyler.
Yeah, incredible job. Yeah. Like I said, hopefully my knee will get better. I can't believe I've done that. Stupid. Literally walked about 50 miles and I get home and trip over my suitcase and break my fucking leg. What's that about?
It's the fact if you had to pull a sickie, you've just been off on holiday, first day back, I can't go in.
Yeah.
So I've done my leg. Fuck off.
Right, okay, well, yeah, watch this space. We may have some fantastic news next week. We'll see.
If anyone has a subject to throw in the hat, give us a shout.
Yeah, and buy us a coffee and all that nonsense.
Yeah, buy us a coffee.
Like, subscribe, ding, 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 all that.
The wee thing should come up if you're watching on YouTube. If you're not, watch it on YouTube.
Good. All right, okay, I'm going to call it a night because I can't be bothered. I'm going to go.
Thanks, James.
All right. Cheers.
Take care.
Night.
See you. Bye.